into the North Carolina zone, where North Carolina controlled it momentarily, but not very long as it rolls over the sidelines, and Connecticut will take it. Last touch by North Carolina, throwing on the far sideline by Eddie Lynch. Lynch going down for Graciano Cornolo, can't get there as Jim Poff beats him to the ball. Poff sending it upfield for Adam Abronsky. Abronsky kicking the ball high up at the air. The ball is now headed down by Billy Maroney, but Maroney hits it right down to Billy Hartman. Hartman controlling the ball for University of North Carolina. He gets the ball up to teammate on the left on the break, Abronsky. Abronsky coming down, a 1-on-3 break, and a few more players now coming to the scene. A shot on goal by Tim Ensley, but it goes over everything as the Huskies did not retreat back fast enough on the defense, and they let North Carolina get a goal right outside or right around the penalty area, but it really wasn't very well taken by Ensley as he shot it very fast and went over everything. So Connecticut will have the goal kick, and McSpirit will send it into play. McSpirit gets it up to Billy Maroney. Maroney heads it up in the air. That ball is now bouncing around loose. Eric Myron settles it down off his chest, trying to send it upfield, but it's kicked off the head of Billy Hartman, and Hartman brings it back to teammate Tony Johnson. Johnson, who stands at 6'2", 185, looks more like a football player, loses the ball to Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit kicks it back to Jimmy Renahan, and the Connecticut offensive machine will get underway. A machine that's been stalled as in the last 4 games. In the past 4 games, the Huskies have only managed to score 3 goals. They've been shut out versus Stanford, only 1 goal versus San Francisco. That one came on a fluke, and 1 goal versus California Berkeley. That was on a penalty kick, and they happened to score our last game versus Dartmouth. Elvis Comrie put the ball in the nets, and other than that, the Huskies really have not done much on the offense. Now Connecticut has gets the ball on a direct kick as a push is called on North Carolina, and Charlie McSpirit sends the ball into play. McSpirit sends it to North Carolina side of the field, but Billy Hartman gets ahead on it. It comes back the other way. There's a break. This is Tim Ensley. Ensley losing the ball to John Brubaker. Brubaker sends it all the way back to Jimmy Renahan, and Connecticut will bring it back the other way. Renahan outletting it to Eddie Lynch. Lynch sending it upfield for Bill Maroney. Maroney wisely lets it go by so Graciano Cornolo could pick it up. Cornolo was unattended to at the time, but quickly a North Carolina player comes up and steals the ball, and Tony Johnson has it for the Tar Heels. Tony Johnson sending a pass back to teammate Mike Fiocco, and Fiocco controlling it, sending it across the field for Joe Marr. Marr looking up for Pat O'Connell, can't get it. Nice sliding tackle by Eric Myron. The Huskies bring it back the other way, sending it into North Carolina field, but it's controlled and kicked back by Captain Rick Marvin. Marvin sends the ball down the field, whistle on the play, and we're going to have a tripping call, I believe, on the Connecticut Huskies.
Early action controlled by the Tar Heels, Harold. Right here, a direct kick, their first poignant opportunity of the afternoon.
Ricky Marvin taking direct kick, lobbing in front. Renahan coming on the goal, and he makes a nice save as Tony Johnson was looking for the header. But Renahan had the right away, and he made the play, and he outlets the ball away up to Elvis Comrie, and the Huskies are looking for a break. Comrie right around the midfield circle, now across the midfield line. There's a Tar Heel on his back, but he gets between 2 more, and he sends up a pass on the left side for Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito chips it back on a give and go to Comrie, and Comrie almost cleared to the goal, but Joe Marr comes up and makes the steal, and sends the ball out of bounds. The Huskies with the throw-in, 41 minutes and 56 seconds to go here in the first half, no score, and we're going to have a pushing violation called, I believe, on Billy Hartman, pushing Carlos on the throw-in play, and the Huskies will have a direct kick about 2 yards outside the penalty area on the left side, and their first opportunity to put the ball in the net. This is Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito sending a chipper in front, looking for Bill Maroney, but he's sending it a little bit too far over everybody, and it goes over the goal line. It'll be a goal kick for North Carolina.
It looks like a cross-up in signals between DeBrito and Maroney, and now DeBrito yells over to Maroney, and I think they'll have that straightened out if they should get another opportunity.
Ricky Marvin, the captain who hails from Baltimore, Maryland, played high school in for St. Joseph's. The captain, a senior, sends the ball to play on the goal kick, sending it all the way to midfield. A very nice kick. And Tony Johnson settles it down there. Johnson passing the right side to Pat O'Donnell. O'Donnell looking for Joe Marr. Finds him, and Marr pushes it back up to Tony Johnson, who has his right knee very heavily bandaged. Johnson trying to get the ball in the middle, but John Brubaker there to kick the ball out of bounds over the goal line. And it'll be the first corner kick of the day. It'll be taken by the Tar Heels. And looking to take that goal kick, I believe, is number 21, Pat O'Donnell. O'Donnell now running over to get the ball. The Huskies have ball boys, and that's something that we did not see much on the West Coast, as a lot of the game was wasted chasing the ball. But O'Donnell, let's change that. It's not O'Donnell at all. It's Tim Ensley. Ensley sending right in front, but Rose Renahan to make the save. Looking for the header this time was Mike Fiocco, the midfielder from Miami, Florida. And the Huskies bring it back quickly the other way. Elvis Comrie falls right around midfield. There's a trippy call, and Joe Maroney's right on that linesman, yelling at it. That was a very intentional call, and maybe should have been a yellow card issued. But Comrie was filled on the break, and the Huskies will just get a direct kick out of it, and nothing more. This is DeBrito getting around one UNC player, looking for Elvis Comrie. Comrie bumped from behind, no call, and coming up to make the steal is Ricky Marvin. Marvin can't get the ball out of the areas. It's stolen there by Pedro. DeBrito goes over the goal line. Let's see where they're going to call it. Over the touchline. They're going to say last touch by UNC, so a throw throw-in for the Huskies. DeBrito gets it into Comrie. Comrie into the penalty area on the left side, looking up front. He gets it into Carlos. Carlos back to Tim Mensley. Mensley with a shot wide to the left. But I believe there's a trip or something called in the penalty area. I believe it'll be on the Huskies. And
North Carolina goal kick.
no, they're just going to say no call at all. They're just going to say it's going to be a goal kick. Last touch by Connecticut as it went over the goal line. The Huskies had the ball pretty much loose in front of that penalty area. They couldn't put it in the net.
Maren Hartman went right there to take the ball off Timmy Maisley's foot for a minute there. It looked like Maisley was going to go in unmolested, but it wasn't the case.
Huskies steal the ball coming back the other way, but a dangerous play called on North Carolina, and Connecticut will have a penalty kick about 20 yards out of the penalty area on the left side. This will be Charlie McSpirit taking the direct kick. He's going to chip it up towards the middle, looking for the headers. A few Huskies punched down nicely by Jeff Drayton, the goalie, but it's still loose in front of the goal, and a whistle and a push on UConn. So it'll be a North Carolina Tar Heel direct kick right around the line of the penalty area, and they'll take up the offense right from there. 39 minutes exactly to go here in the first half. We have no score, but we have a lot of action. Not a boring game to say the least, as the Huskies have had a few close shots on goal, and North Carolina has kept the ball in the Husky end for a few times. And Drayton taking the direct kick gets it up towards midfield and settled there by Tim Hensley. Hensley has some problems getting around a few Huskies, but it's finally cleared, and Mike Fiocco comes up with it and sends it down to Tony Johnson. It could be a one-on-one with Johnson. Johnson takes a shot right side, ready with the save, and he pushes it over the goal line as he lost control of the ball. It'll be a corner kick for UNC, but Renahan was there to make the play as Johnson was almost loose on the right side. Brubacher was coming up to make the play, but again, the Huskies having problems with their transition on defense.
Right there, Johnson with a howitzer blast from about 25, but it was to the right of the goal, luckily for Renahan, but it went out of bounds, and now he's upset because UNC has a corner kick.
And here's Tim Hensley. Hensley's going to send a low liner in front, looking for the header again. It's Johnson, but it's headed away by Charlie McSpirit off the foot of Elvis Comrie, and a beautiful clearing kick by the senior. And he clears it all the way over the midfield line, and running to chase it down is Robert Kelly, the back from London, England. 3 players for North Carolina hail from other than the United States. Kelly from London, England. Jerry O'Donnell from Limerick City, Ireland, who did not make the trip, and John Richards from Banjul, Gambia, who also did not make the trip. That ball right in front of the penalty area, almost picked off by Tim Hensley, as Hensley gets a pass to the right side over to Pat O'Donnell. O'Donnell sending it for teammate Joe Marr. He's right outside the penalty area again. Eric Myron, a nice sliding tackle, kicking over the touchline. And we're going to have a throw-in for North Carolina right in front of their own bench with about 37 minutes and 30 seconds to go here in the first half. Ricky Marvin running over to make the throw-in as he goes into the Husky crowd as he settles it down. A long throw right in front of the goal, headed away by Billy Maloney. Eric Meyer looking for the ball. He kicks it up in the air, sends it over to Pedro DeBrito. UNC yelling for a dangerous kick call, but none to be had. And DeBrito gets around one North Carolina player, goes over to Billy Maloney, who sends it up to Eric Myron. Huskies controlling the ball with a lot of short, nice passes, and they're getting around the North Carolina defense. This time Elvis Comrie has the ball stripped from him by Robert Kelly. Kelly coming back to the way, looking for Tony Johnson, gets a header to him, and Johnson settles it down, but McSpirit blasted away, kept in by North Carolina. Ball loose in front. This is Hensley. Hensley right into the penalty area, shot and goal, saved, but it's loose and cleared away nicely by Eric Myron, and now double cleared by John Brubacher, but a great play by Renahan. North Carolina is still controlling the ball. This is Jim Poff. Poff looking to get around Graciano Cornello, does so, gets the pass to Hensley again. Hensley on the right side is punched away and cleared away by Eric Myron as it goes over the goal line. It'll be a corner kick by Renahan on that last play, made a goal-saving dive to save that ball from going into the net.
And if you're scoring at home, you have to give Eric Myron a save on that scoring drive by UNC.
Tim Hensley, who seems to be very dangerous for University of North Carolina on the year. Hensley has 9 goals and 3 assists for 21 points, the second leading scorer. And we can see why, as he just went into that University of Connecticut defense. Here's the corner kick in front. Tony Johnson controls it. Momentarily it goes over the goal line. And the Huskies will have a goal kick, but they're going to have some problems with Tim Hensley and Tony Johnson. Johnson was built like a football player, and Hensley, who squirms like a snake. And they're just getting that ball right into the penalty area, and they're having a lot of nice shots on goal. And if the Huskies don't start to perk up on defense, we're going to see some goals going to net for UNC.
And in the early action, it's like back-checking in hockey. UNC has their midfielders pulled up, and the fullbacks are up around the midfield area, and the Huskies have had a hard time getting any offense going.
Connecticut with the direct kick. Long pass sent down from Charlie McSpirit for Elvis Comrie. Stolen there by UNC, and they're going to bring it back the other way. This is Robert Kelly. Kelly sends the ball out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for Connecticut, and on the far sideline, Pedro DeBrito will take it. DeBrito over to Elvis Comrie. Comrie having some problems getting around quite a few players, was tripped on the play, and we're going to have a foul called there. North Carolina, the men's team, similarly playing their game just like the women's team, a little bit physical and a lot more fouls being called against the Tar Heels in the early going, a lot more than the University of Connecticut team.
Now Pedro will have him. We'll see from the earlier play if he'll connect with Billy Maroney.
Direct kick on the right side. DeBrito looking to make it. The Huskies trying to send everything in play. DeBrito now chipping in front, and it goes over everyone again, and Maroney did get a head on it, but again, it was just a little bit too far for DeBrito. And one thing I've noticed so far, DeBrito is not as nearly checked as he was on the West Coast, as they doubled and even triple teamed him. I'm not exactly sure what happened up in Dartmouth. I did not see that game, but in the other games, they're really keyed on Pedro DeBrito, but DeBrito seems to be moving freely here in this ball game. So goal kick for University of North Carolina. Whistle on the play. Let's see what they're going to call. I believe a push on the Huskies. And we're going to have another Carolina direct kick. This time it will be taken by the back Jim Poff. Poff sending the ball into play right around the midfield area. Now he goes off the ball and he lets it for Ricky Marvin. Marvin with a very potent left foot as he does send it into play. A long lob. We're looking for the header. Carlos along with Billy Hartman. The ball is settled down by number 7, Adam Abronski. Abronski has it stripped away by a Husky and cleared away by John Brubaker. Brubaker sending it down for Graziano Cornels in a foot race with it with Jim Poff. Poff wins the race and has possession of the ball. Poff passing the right side to Fiocco. Fiocco with the ball around midfield, but a couple Huskies come up and strip the ball, and this is Charlie McSpirit with it on the left side. McSpirit over to Tim Maisley. Maisley crossing the midfield line and coming into the Tar Heel side of the play. Maisley passing the left side over to Elvis Comrie. Comrie trying to get around one Tar Heel. He finally does so as Robert Kelly cannot get by him. Now a push is called as Kelly had his arms all over Comrie as he was racing to go by. So the direct kick for the Huskies about 10 yards outside the penalty area from the left side. And with 33 minutes and 27 seconds to go here in the first half, Pedro DeBrito will take it. And let's see if there'll be a little bit more on goal for the Huskies. DeBrito, low liner foot, header by Carlos. Carlos goes over the crossbar. And it'll be a goal kick for University of North Carolina. But that was the best shot on goal Connecticut has had so far today. And they're starting to apply the pressure on offense.
And we have some interesting matchups in the Husky defensive zone. Timmy Maisley is going man-to-man. All the Huskies in the defensive zone are going man-to-man. And they have Eric Myron guarding number 21, Pat O'Donnell. Apparently they think O'Donnell is their scoring threat. Maisley guarding very closely Robert Kelly up front.
The Huskies stole the ball on the direct kick, but Pedro DeBrito outletted the pass on the left side, and no Husky was there to gobble it up. So Tar Heels will come back with it the other way, and there's a push on the play by John Brubaker. Make that a jumping in call. And North Carolina will have a direct kick right in front of the penalty, right in front of the press box. And taking that, again, it will be Ricky Marvin. Marvin seems to be some sort of playmaking type ball player with a strong left leg. He doesn't have any assists on the year and only one goal, but he's probably one of the guys who starts off most of the goals for the North Carolina team. He sends it right into the penalty area, headed away by Charlie McSpirit, and again cleared nicely by Eric Myers. So Myers, who might be inspired by that award he won a little bit earlier, playing a very fine game. We're going to have a push call on North Carolina, and the Huskies this time will take the ball. And Coach Anson Dorrance not too happy with that linesman's call, and he is yelling at him. First time Dorrance has been off the bench, but Connecticut will take control of the ball, and this is Elvis Comrie. Comrie sending it into the middle for Charlie McSpirit as McSpirit controls it for the Connecticut White. McSpirit coming in looking for Graziano Cornolo, but a steal on the play as Fiocco comes up with it. North Carolina will bring it back to the way. The Huskies are going to have to hustle on defense. This is Tim Hensley. Hensley passing the right side for teammate Joe Marr. Marr being played man-to-man with Pedro DeBrito. Sends a pass up to Pat O'Connell, and O'Connell gets it over to Fiocco. Fiocco downfield for Hensley, but Tim Maisley's there to strip the ball, and the Huskies will bring it back the other way. Billy Maroney. Maroney on the right side for Brubaker. Brubaker's wide open in the clear, and he's streaking down the field on the right side. Brubaker looking for Elvis Comrie, giving go off Comrie's head, and Brubaker enters the attacking third of the field. It's Brubaker playing man-to-man with Billy Hartman. Hartman steals the ball on a sliding tackle, but only manages to kick the ball over the touchline, and it will be a Husky throw-in, and he gets it in quickly to Elvis Comrie. Comrie with the ball in the right corner. He couldn't control it very long. He went over the goal line and will have a goal kick for the Tar Heels. 30 minutes and 57 seconds to go here in the first half. Harold Darak along with Mark Boudreau. It's scoreless. Connecticut 0 and North Carolina 0. If you joined us late, the women's game, the number 1 team in the country, University of Connecticut women's soccer team, fell to the number 2 team in the country, the same University of North Carolina team, by the score of 2-0. Now here's a kick by Jeff Drayton, the goalie. He sends it all the way up towards midfield. A few people racing for it, and getting there first is John Brubacher. Brubacher sending it up for a Husky, but it's stolen there by Billy Hartman. Hartman bringing it back the other way. Hartman entering the Connecticut side of the field, sends a pass up for Tony Johnson. Johnson controlling it for the Tar Heel Blue. Johnson sending it up in the middle, looking for Pat O'Donnell. O'Donnell's open. Myron now getting on him, but O'Donnell manages to get the pass back to Johnson and give a nice elbow to Elvis Comrie before the ball is stolen by Cornell. Now another elbow, this time given to Graciano Cornell. It's finally called, and we're going to have a yellow card. Let's see who they're going to give it to. Down. A little bit of an Academy Award acting there by Cornell, but the Huskies did get the ball. This is Comrie streaking down the right side. Comrie right along the goal line, sending it in front for Billy Mooney. Shot on goal, but saved by Drayton as Mooney just dribbled it up in front. But the Huskies now starting to act more aggressive on the offense. As a good opportunity to keep the ball in front of the net. At least you see it. There might have been a loose ball if a mistake was made. And the Huskies control it on the goal kick. This is Elvis Comrie. Comrie sending a pass, and Drayton's right there to make the save. A left-footed blast for about 30 yards out, and Drayton was right there. And Drayton is controlling the ball, and Cornell is on him man for man. Drayton outlets it on the left side for teammate Rick Marvin. Ricky Marvin, the captain, who's playing the sweeper back, sends it all the way into Connecticut territory. Looking for the header was John Brubacher. He missed it. Tony Johnson comes up with for North Carolina. Johnson on the break. It's Johnson versus McSpirit. Gets by McSpirit. Brubacher comes up to make the save as he kicks it back to Rennie. And so Brubacher, who made the mistake, came back and atoned for it, and Connecticut controls the ball.
Johnson might have had his best opportunity there to slide a pass to Ensley, who was streaking down the right side. He elected to take it in himself. Nice save by Jimmy Renahan. Getting set to check in the Husky lineup. Number 3, Jimmy Lyman, who we haven't seen much of in the last 2 games. And number 15, Jim Dorsey.
Johnson with the ball loose in front of the penalty area. Shot on goal, but Renahan's there on the one bouncer as DeBrito was called for a push, and quickly it was Ricky Marvin sending the ball in the play before any of the Huskies really were ready for it, and Johnson was there to make the shot, but Renahan was there to make a very nice play. Connecticut now controlling the ball. This is Billy Maloney. Maloney in the Connecticut side of the field sending a shot into the Tar Heel zone where it's headed there by Elvis Comrie. Comrie looking to pass the ball back to Carlos, but Carlos wasn't there fast enough, and Ricky Marvin gathers the ball in for the Tar Heels and sends it back the other way. Marvin sending it into the Connecticut side of the field. John Brubacher's there. Brubacher sending it up to Bill Maloney. Maloney having some problems getting around one North Carolina player, but he sends a back pass over to Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit enters the Tar Heel side of the field. McSpirit still controlling the ball. Johnson on him. Pass left side over to Eric Myron and into the corner for Graciano Cornell. Cornell tripped on the play by Jim Poff, and we're going to have a referee timeout, and I believe we're going to have the referee talking to Jim Poff, maybe trying to settle him down. 2 referees in the game is Arthur Coles and Donald Winshek. And the time is stopped, and now the referee talking to Poff, and another yellow card for North Carolina. And I believe Anson Dorrance is just furious along the sideline. That's the second yellow card given in the game. The first one was given to Tony Johnson. The second one given to Jim Poff, and the Huskies will have a direct kick. The Huskies have been having problems with the physical teams playing them, and now that they're back home in Gardner Dow, they really don't want to see any physical game if they do not need one. As we do know, Huskies are more of a finesse team. McSpirit sending the ball to play. Header in front. It's loose. It goes over everybody. I believe it was headed by a North Carolina player, and it should be a corner kick for the Huskies. Let's see what they're going to roll it.
I believe it is, Harold, and it looks like Elvis Comrie will go on the far side of the field to take it for the Huskies. As we have Cornello and Eddie Lynch checking out, and Jim Dorsanio and Jim Lyman checking in.
And for North Carolina, Kenny West, a forward and a freshman from Lithonia, Georgia, checking in for Tim Ensley. Ensley, who has had most of the scoring opportunities for North Carolina, taking a breather on the bench. This is Comrie with the corner kick. Right in front, it's punched away and over the goal, this time again by Jeff Drayton. Nice play, the Huskies will have a corner kick from the left side.
Taken by number 7.
26 minutes and 53 seconds to go in the first half. Huskies looking to get on the board first today. I believe in all the games North Carolina's played, they've only had to come from behind once. And the Huskies trying to get on the board first. Is DeBrito taking the corner kick, and I believe Elvis Comrie was pushing the penalty area, but no call. The ball goes over the goal line again, and the Huskies with a corner kick from the other side. And the fans are really liking this. The Huskies keeping that ball in play in front of the goal, looking to put it in the net. Looking to make the play. Elvis Comrie this time. The penalty kick for the right side. A low liner this time right in front looking for Carlos, but it didn't get there first. It went over the goal line. It'll be a goal kick for the Tar Heels.
I was going to say before, Harold, on that last corner kick, Elvis Comrie was in the middle, and it looked like he took a punch in the head from goalie Jeff Drayton. And I tell you, that one had to hurt right in the old Chaparinos. But Elvis looks to be all right.
And the ball is in play. It was in play until it went over the goal line, or over the touchline. Last touch by Connecticut. Or maybe we're going to have a foul called on the play. Yes, it'll be a direct kick for North Carolina. And again, putting it into play will be Ricky Marvin. Marvin sends a boot just over the midfield line where it's gathered in there by Carlos. Pass up to Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito back to Carlos, who was tripped on the play by Billy Hartman. Hartman was going for the ball, but Carlos took a spill. And the Huskies will take the direct kick and send it into play. Lyman sends it into Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito on the right side being guarded very tough by Joe Marr. And Marr kicks the ball away over to goal line again. And the Huskies with their fourth corner kick within about a minute and a half. And this time DeBrito will take it.
And sooner or later, one of these is going to really produce some offense for the Huskies.
At least that's what the Huskies are hoping. DeBrito, a nice chipper in front. Maroney looking for the header. It's punched up by Drayton, loose in front. Headed by Murray, now headed by Comrie. Ball in front of the goal. Dosadio sets up for Murray. Shot off a North Carolina player. Make that off a Husky player. It goes over the goal line. And a goal kick for North Carolina. But the Huskies had the ball loose in front of the goal. Still they can't put it in the net. And we're still scoreless here with exactly 25 minutes to go here in the first half. Goal kick will be taken by Jeff Drayton. Nope, let's check that. Make it Ricky Marvin. Marvin is the sweeper back captain, and he sends it up a very poor kick right towards the middle of the Connecticut zone. As looking for was Eric Meyer, but Meyer couldn't beat the ball out of the over the touchline, and North Carolina will have a throw-in right in front of the Connecticut bench. Taking it will be Jim Poff. Poff looking up for teammate Kenny West, but Tim Maisley intervenes and kicks the ball out of bounds. Another throw-in again by Jim Poff. Poff being guarded man-to-man by Dorsanio. Sends the ball in looking for teammate number 26, Kenny West, but headed back by Tim Maisley, and the Huskies control the other way. The Huskies have taken over the control of this game. This is Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito step for step with Joe Marr, and Marr kicks it over the goal line, and the Huskies will take, or matter of fact, they're going to call it a direct kick on a push by Marr, and the Huskies have it deep in their own corner. The corner of the Tar Heel zone. It's Elvis Comrie trying to get around two North Carolina players. It's stolen there by Joe Marr, but a whistle on the play, and I believe we're going to have another push on North Carolina, and I believe it's obstruction call. And Connecticut will have an indirect kick about 10 yards outside of the penalty area on the left side. DeBrito will send the ball on the play. Clock running, 23 minutes, 46 seconds. DeBrito in front of the goal, looking for the header. Was a Husky player punched out by Jeff Drayton to John Brubaker. Brubaker sends it back into the penalty area, and it was last touched by North Carolina player, and we're going to have a corner kick on the right side for the Huskies. So they've been leading in corner kicks, but they can't put that ball in the net. They've been having all sorts of problems finishing off their plays in their last 4 games, and it's so far continuing here to this 5th game. 23-23 to go in the first half. Carlos taking the corner kick. Looking up for John Brubaker. Sends it into the middle, but cleared away by Jim Poff. Maisley gets the ball. He's still in the Connecticut, still in the Tar Heel zone. Pass the right side over to McSpear. McSpear to Robert in front. And coming out to make the play is Drayton. A whistle on the play. And let's see what we're going to have, because Maloney was looking for the header. Drayton came way out of the goal. But I believe they're going to call the jumping in play on Billy Maloney.
Ball is against Connecticut.
And that probably was one of the worst calls by the referee so far, is Billy Maloney was just standing there, really didn't do anything. Jeff Drayton came out of the goal, and Maloney, I believe, must have gotten called for some sort of foul. That ball is bouncing around, a couple of headers between a few players. The ball goes out of bounds, last touched by Dorsanio.
Carolina throw-in.
And North Carolina will have the throw-in, and Poff again will take it. Now Poff lets it off for teammate Ricky Marvin. And Marvin sends it into the Connecticut zone. Tim Maisley gets a head on it, but heads it right out of bounds. I believe he's going to be called. Matter of fact, we got a push call on Kenny West, which I really can't believe, because Maisley stepped in front of him, and I think Anson Dorrance is really very upset with this refereeing, as he might as well should be. A lot of calls on North Carolina really should not be called, as this is not as physical a game as the referees would lead you to believe. Elvis Comrie, right side over to Carlos, into the corner to Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito has to get around Joe Marr, and DeBrito now trying to on the right side. He does so, and he has control of the ball, sending it in front, but it's kicked off a North Carolina player, and another corner kick for the Huskies.
Number 7, Pedro.
And DeBrito will take it. We have a substitution. Brian Stevenson in the game for the Huskies, and checking out will be Eric Myron.
Number 10, Eric Myron.
And the Huskies will take the corner kick. DeBrito sending it out for Charlie McSpear. McSpear settles it down and kicks it into the penalty area, but right there to make the play was Jim Poff, and Poff sends it all the way down to the other side of the field, and John Brubaker were racing for it. Brubaker over to Maisley, and Connecticut will control it in their side of the field. Maisley up for Billy Maloney. Maloney being pushed from behind by Mike Fiocco. The play... The play is called, and the people are booing. And Connecticut will have the direct kick. A little bit of confusion there is there was a push called on North Carolina, and Connecticut will take the direct kick. Headed away by Robert Kelly, but controlled by Tim Maisley, and the Huskies keep control of the ball, this time in the Tar Heel zone. Up to Carlos. Carlos pushed from behind, no call. Ball bouncing around loose. Carlos now racing for it, and he gains control of the ball. Carlos passing the right side to Jimmy Lyman. Lyman streaking downfield, untouched and pretty much alone. Passing the ball up to Elvis Comrie. Comrie with a nice bit of footwork that really hasn't got him anywhere. Trying to get around Oblonsky, sending it in front for Torpedo. Shot it down by Maroney, and he scores! It was Dorsanio to Maroney, and he put the ball in. And the Huskies have made it 1-0 on a header by Billy Maroney with 20 minutes and 36 seconds to go in the first half. Jim Dorsanio collected the pass on the right side from, I believe, Elvis Comrie, and he put a pass right in front of Billy Maroney, who headed it into the net by Jeff Drayton, and Connecticut has taken the lead 1-0. Dorsanio and Elvis Comrie picking up the assists, and it was Billy Maroney scoring a goal, his third of the season, and his first since, I believe, the Indiana game.
Number 11, Elvis Comrie, and number 15, Jim Dorsanio.
And the official time of the goal, 24 minutes and 24 seconds. So the Huskies get the first goal of the game. They take the lead 1-0, North Carolina with the kickoff, and they have control of the ball. This is Kenny West having the ball stolen from Tim Maisley. A whistle on the play, I believe it was a dangerous play called on North Carolina, so the Huskies will take control of the ball. Beautiful header by Billy Maroney. It was really surprising that they got the ball in that clearly to Jim Dorsanio, and Dorsanio just put a nice pass on the right side of Maroney. Maroney was right there to head the ball in the net, and they take the 1-0 lead. North Carolina kicks the ball high up in the air, settled down off the head of Kenny West. West looking to pass the ball on the left side and does so to Pat O'Donnell. O'Donnell gets the pass up to teammate Mike Fiocco. Fiocco up to Kenny West as West comes into the Connecticut zone. This is Charlie McSpirit stripping the ball away. McSpirit over to Carlos. Carlos sending a pass on the right side to Pedro DeBrito. And Connecticut has control of the ball as they cross into the Tar Heel zone. This is Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit on the left side looking for Dorsanio. Kicks a little bit by Dorsanio. Goes over the touchline, and it'll be a throw-in for North Carolina with 19 minutes and 34 seconds to go here in the first half. Kelly looking for the throw-in. Gets it up to West, but West can't control it. Maroney gets it on the play. The ball's bouncing around loose. A whistle and a trip called North Carolina. I'm going to love to see this first half statistics. A lot of fouls by North Carolina. A lot of them I'm not sure are very much warranted, as they're not as dangerous as the referee is making the game out to be. Graciano Coelho sending it to penalty area, kicked away, or headed away nicely by North Carolina, but still controlled by the Huskies. This is Billy Maroney, right side to Jimmy Lyman. Lyman right around the middle of the field, sending a lob in front for Jim Dorsanio, but it goes by Dorsanio. There should have been an obstruction call, but Jeff Drayton coming out of the goal to make the play, and Dorsanio yelling for obstruction calls. The North Carolina player was between him and the ball, and he couldn't get to it, but Drayton comes up with it, and it's going to be North Carolina controlling.
We've got a few Huskies getting set to check in. Number 13, Eddie Lynch. Number 10, Eric Myron. And the number 11, Elvis Comrie.
Pat O'Donnell has the ball stripped from him by Brian Stevenson. Now O'Donnell gets back, kicks it over the line. And it'll be a Stevenson throw-in right in front of the Connecticut bench. Stevenson gets it into Cornola. Cornola, nice move around. Pop controls the ball on the left side. And he goes to center the ball for Dorsanio, but he kicks it over the goal.
Checking in for North Carolina for the first time this afternoon, David Hellwig, number 25. And he'll take out number 26, that's Ken West. Harold, in the last two games, I don't know about California, you can speak for that, but in the last couple of games, it seems like Jim Dorsanio has really been playing some heads-up soccer.
Dorsanio has been playing pretty well. He even started, I believe, one of the games against Stanford for, I believe it was Graziano Cornola, who wasn't playing too well 2 games before that. But Dorsanio still haven't been able to put the ball in the net that much, but he's still always around there, setting up some sort of plays and always hustling, and he's really helping out the UConn forwards. Lyman now taking the ball on the throw, and he gets the ball to Elvis Comrie, but there's a push from behind, this time on Kenny West. And it'll be a Connecticut direct kick in the Tar Heel side of the field, about 10 yards out of the penalty area. 17 minutes, 31 seconds to go in the first half. Harold Eric along with Mark Boudreau. Connecticut 1, North Carolina 0. A shot on goal by Lyman, a weak one. Easy save by Jeff Drayton. And the North Carolina team will start up their offense on a kick by Drayton as he has a drop kick, sends it up towards midfield.
One thing we'll have to look for at halftime, the statistics for saves. It looks like Drayton's made quite a few more saves than Jimmy Renahan has. Renahan in the early going was making a few saves, but right now it's been all Huskies.
Fiocco gets a pass up to Johnson. Johnson looking for Ensley, but there to make the play was number 13, Eddie Lynch, and Lynch was pushed on the play by Ensley, and Connecticut will have a direct kick. So the Huskies really being able to stop the North Carolina offensive threat so far, and they have taken complete control of this game and kept most of the ball control in the Tar Heel side of the field. Right now, North Carolina having the ball right around midfield. There's a scrape between Jimmy Lyman and a North Carolina player. Whistle on the play, and let's see which way it's going to go. A push on Lyman. So North Carolina, well, now they're going to set the ball out of bounds. Last touch by UConn. North Carolina has a throw, and they're coming down the other way. This is Adam Obronsky. Obronsky sitting in front of the goal, but it goes over the goal, and over the goal line is Jimmy Renahan was there to cut down the angle, and the Huskies will have a goal kick and a new man coming into the game.
And it's number 19, Karen Coffey, also checking back in. Number 6, Carlos. Brian Stevenson will check out, and also number 8, Billy Maroney will take a puff.
Replacing Bill Maroney.
And we'll have a Husky goal kick with 6:02 left here in the first half, and the Huskies leading it by a score of 1-0.
Charlie McSpirit takes a goal kick right up to midfield, headed there by Mike Fiocco, and kept into the Connecticut side of the field. Now ball bouncing around loose, a whistle on the play, and I believe Carlos was pushed down by Robert Kelly. That's the way the play is going to be called.
Carolina elbow.
Or they're going to call it an elbow, one or the other. Carlos went down, and Connecticut will have the direct kick, and taking it will be Charlie McSpirit. As the clock's winding down, the Huskies will be glad to come into the locker room with a 1-goal lead. That's the first time they'll be coming into a halftime with a 1-goal lead in quite some time. Matter of fact, the only time they had it was versus Cal Brooklyn in their last 4 games. This is Charlie McSpirit controlling right from the penalty area, sending a shot for Garfield Cordova. A nice play by Drayton as he comes out of the goal very wisely, as he suspected that play was going to happen, and he came all the way out to the penalty area, and now he outlets the ball, but it is controlled by Fiocco. But Fiocco can't get the ball over the line as he gets around one Husky player, sending it up for a teammate, but broken up by Jimmy Lyman, and the ball is sent back all the way to North Carolina.
Heads-up action by Drayton right there. His injured knee or not, he looks 100% from us, and he's come out and made a beautiful save. Gratz Cornola right there. He would have put that one home.
There's a holding call on Connecticut. North Carolina will take the ball and put it into play. Jim Poff controlling it for the Tar Heels, sending it up for Tony Johnson. We haven't heard much from Johnson since the beginning of the game, and since the Huskies went man-to-man. And this is Billy Hartman with the ball on the left side. Ball is kicked out of bounds nicely by Eric Myron, and a throw-in for North Carolina. Throw-in comes to Tony Johnson. Johnson being guarded by Brubacher, sends it up front for Ensley, but Ensley is not there as he tried to shield Lyman. He let the ball get by him, and Charlie McSpirit comes away with it for the Huskies. McSpirit kicks it right off Ensley's foot as it goes out of bounds, and the Huskies will have a throw. Another heads-up play by the captain from Florida, New Jersey. Ensley sends it up for Kieran Coffey. Coffey kicks the ball off, I believe, Robert Kelly's foot. And no, they're going to say it was off Kelly, or off Kieran Coffey. And the throw-ins for North Carolina, but the throw-in made by Ricky Marvin came to nobody as Connecticut quickly took the ball and has stolen it. This is Elvis Conley getting pushed from behind. We're going to have to call, and the Huskies are going to have a direct kick right in front of the penalty area. Husky defense playing very well since they've gone man-to-man. They've been able to control Tony Johnson and control Tim Ensley.
And, of course, Tony Johnson with those 2 big goals versus Boston College is being guarded man-to-man by John Brubacher. And Brubacher has not come out of the game. He's done a super job going man-for-man with Mr. Johnson.
This could be one of Brubacher's finest games, as well as Tim Maisley. Maisley's been playing number 10, Tim Ensley, pretty well. This is Pedro Sabrito entering the penalty area. Shot goal wide to the right. And Sabrito got one off. He put a little mustard on it, and it curved wide to the right. And it'll be a goal kick for North Carolina, but he's starting to wake up this Husky crowd, but the crowd still is not very vocal.
That's the first we've heard from Pedro this afternoon, and I tell you, that would have taken some armor to stop if it was on net, because that thing was a bazooka blast.
Kenny West sending the ball in the play, sending it right around midfield. I believe Lyman is going to get called for a push, and he is, as we can see that all the way from across the field. And Adam Obronsky will send the ball in the play. But as I was just mentioning, this crowd is pretty silent. We have not heard much at all. The only time we did hear any cheering was when we happen to have a goal, but especially most of the rowdies are on the other side of the field that are usually just always there yelling and screaming. We have not heard much at all. This crowd has been pretty silent. There's approximately 3,000 or 4,000 fans on hand. North Carolina will throw it from the far side of the field. Looking for it is Mike Fiocco. Fiocco has it, but Jimmy Lyman's there to break it up. The ball now bounding around loosely in the penalty area. It gets out of the penalty area where Graciano Cornello sends it downfield, but there's no Husky to gather it in. Instead, Jim Poff will take it and keep it in the Husky side of the field. Poff sending a lobber, looking for Tony Johnson. Johnson gets the ball, but right with him is John Brubacher. Johnson in the penalty area. Brubacher there man-to-man. Johnson right on the line, trying to get around Brubacher. Still has control of the ball. Brubacher clears the way. Ensley with a shot and goal. Punched away nicely by Ranahan, and controlled by North Carolina. North Carolina has it momentarily. Eddie Lynch clears it away and it goes over the goal, and the Husky defense holds with 12 minutes and 2 seconds to go here in the first half. Connecticut 1, North Carolina 0, and North Carolina will have a throw-in. This is David Hellwig. Hellwig just checked in the game a few moments ago from Westchester, Pennsylvania. He takes a throw-in. McSpear's there to make the header, but he heads it right to the body of Adam Jablonski, and the ball is bouncing around loose. Whistle on the play, and I believe it's going to be a foul on North Carolina, and the Huskies will have a direct kick.
Jimmy Ranahan, just momentarily, made the nicest save of the afternoon coming out to punch the ball away, but he took a shot in the process by Billy Hartman, and it'll be interesting to see if Mr. Ranahan is okay. It looked like he took a shot to the ribs. Getting set to check in the Husky lineup, Billy Maroney.
And the Huskies will take the ball on the goal kick. Or on the direct kick, excuse me, and Connecticut is controlling the ball. This is Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit passing the back ball on the left side, has the ball stolen by Adam Jablonski, and North Carolina coming back the other way. This is Tony Johnson. Johnson controlling the ball, coming into the penalty area. He gets around Brubaker, a nice clear on a pass, cleared away by Eddie Lynch. He got really up close. Lynch was there to break up a pass between Johnson and Inslee, and the Huskies will bring it back the other way. This is Elvis Connery on the break. Connery with it with Hellwig. He has the back shot and goal, and a whistle. As making the save was Dre, and I believe we're going to have Connery being called down right outside the penalty area on a definite push, and we should have a yellow card. Let's see what they're going to have.
It's David Hellwig on the cut down. Elvis Connery saw his feet right out from under him. We're going to have a direct kick about 15 yards out from the goal, 20 yards out. And we have a clock stop now as their goalie, Jeff Drayton, has gone down.
I believe he's just tying his shoe, but it might be his knee because he collided with Elvis Connery on the play. Kick right outside the penalty area, point blank on the goalie, and it's going to be a 2, 4, 6, 7-man well, and Graciano Coronado is winning. Let's see what the Huskies can muster up. It's McSpirit and DeBrito. McSpirit to DeBrito, blast, but he kicks away into the wall. Carlos gets it on the right side, and the ball is kicked over the goal line, and the Huskies are going to have a corner kick, and Billy Maroney is going to re-enter the game for Huron Coffee. So the Huskies have kept the ball alive in front of the goal. They'll have another corner kick to see what they can do. They've had about 6 or 7 this first half. Here's Carlos. He sends a loud one in front, but I believe it goes over the goal, and it'll be a goal kick for North Carolina. And the Huskies have blown a very good opportunity to put the ball back in the net.
10 minutes and 12 seconds to go, and the Huskies have plenty of time. I'm sure they'd like to go in with 2 instead of 1.
Okay, the official attendance has been announced. 5,200 very quiet fans here at Gardner Dow Field in Storrs, Connecticut. And a little bit farther than my prediction of for about 4,000 fans. But then again, I didn't count man for man today.
No door prize.
Whistle on the play. A man is down. It's a Husky. And we're going to have a yellow card. The third one of the first half. This one issued to Adam Jablonski, as I cannot see the player who's down on the field holding his knee. Carlos is getting more abuse now than he has ever gotten. He is known to be one of the most physical players on the Huskies. They are taking their opportunity to chop him down. So the third yellow card issued to a North Carolina player here in the first half. And I believe now one for Jim Poff, one for Adam Jablonski, and one for Tony Johnson. Another yellow card for either or any of those 3 players will give them an automatic red card, which will see that team play 1 short.
Checking in right now, Mike Reed, number 13, will check in for number 7, Adam Jablonski. I think they want to cool him off a little bit and give him a puff.
Reed is a 6'3 junior weighing 180 out of Hudson, Ohio, who played his soccer at Hudson High School. And he plays fullback or in the backfield.
We'd like to we have a heck of a halftime show. World Wrestling personalities will be here in just 10 minutes, so stay tuned.
Okay, Pedro DeBrito gets the ball on the direct kick. DeBrito controlling, he's being pushed from behind. No call. Joe Mauer doing the pushing, and now we have a whistle. And there's going to be a call. And now putting his hands to his head, the coach Anson Dorrance of University of North Carolina. The Tar Heels have only had to come back once in all their games they have played so far, and the Huskies have now taken the lead. This is Elvis Connery with the ball right side of the penalty area, and he gets the strip from him by Joe Marr, and passed over. Marr clears the ball all the way over the touchline. The Huskies want to throw it, and DeBrito takes it. DeBrito over to Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit out front to Jimmy Lyman. Lyman sending one in front of the goal. Maroney with the header. It's cleared down center in front. A shot goal by Cornell, but a save by Jeff Drayton. As the ball is loose in front, Cornell was there to gather it up and take a quick shot, but Drayton was there to cut off the angle and make the play.
It looked from here like Cornell didn't get all of that, because if he had, it would have been in the net. but he just got part of it, and it trickled in where Drayton was quick enough to make the save.
Huskies totally dominating this first half, out shooting North Carolina and outplaying them. And now John Brubaker trips Tony Johnson. Johnson comes back to make an obvious trip back to Brubaker. Brubaker, no call on either play, and the Tar Heel coach just very, very much angry with the refereeing here in his first half, as it was obvious that Brubaker should have got called for a trip. Johnson went up to make the play. Brubaker went behind him, and Johnson fell over Brubaker. And now another collision between Brubaker and Johnson. It's a yellow card. It could be all for Tony Johnson. A yellow card, and I believe that's the red one. Tony Johnson is out of the game on 2 yellow cards, and Brubaker is very happy that he forced Tony Johnson to get very, very angry at John Brubaker, and he forced him to trip him, and Brubaker is just ecstatic as he could be the player of the game for getting Tony Johnson, who has 8 goals and 3 assists on the season, out of the game, and the Tar Heels are going to have to play one man down for the rest of the contest.
The time on that one, 36-44, as Johnson is thrown off the field. And I tell you, Johnson was very deliberate in that. He could have hurt somebody, and you hate to see soccer get down to that point.
Unfortunately, Anson Durant is fuming at the referees, and I'd be really mad if I was Anson Durant too, because John Brubaker tripped Tony Johnson. No call was made on the play. Johnson came back and tripped him back, and Tony Johnson ended up getting a yellow card a play later when he barreled into Mr. Brubaker. But a lot of these calls look like it could be a home job, because a lot of these fouls really should not be called fouls on these North Carolina players. So we're going to see a very big variance in the fouls called by both teams when the halftime statistics do come out.
Getting set to check in number 14, Thukas Stavriandis, the freshman who had the assist against Dartmouth. Harold, that's an interesting point, but when you come back, as Mr. Johnson did, so obvious with his kick, he could have very easily hurt Mr. Brubaker, that you have to give him the red card.
North Carolina controlling the ball. This is Ensley. Remember, they are one man down, and they'll be playing that way throughout the whole second half. And Connecticut has control of the ball on the steal. John Brubaker as he gets over to Pedro DeBrito, but it's re-stolen back by number 22, Joe Marr, and it goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Huskies, and a throw in by North Carolina. Tim Ensley gets the ball on the throw, and Ensley is now the scoring machine for the Tar Heel. Sends a pass in front of Billy Hartman. Hartman gets around a few. Huskies shot and goal. Save Renahan. Loose in front. He goes over the goal line. And another nice play by the goalie, Jim Renahan.
And it looked like Eric Myron was there. The ball was loose to the right of the goal, and Eric Myron was there to knock it out of bounds. A nice play by Mr. Myron.
The Huskies are going to have to wake up on defense, because they just let Tim Ensley come all the way down, stroll down the field, pass in front to Billy Hartman. And Hartman took a shot on goal. Good save by Jim Renahan. The ball went over the goal. It's going to be a corner kick for North Carolina. I believe Ensley will take it. As you just mentioned, Thukas Stavrianitis is just checking the game now. Shot in front. It's settled down by Hartman. Shot right to the left, and a goal kick for Connecticut.
Harold, you made a point there, and I still think the weakest point in the Husky soccer game is that transition. They can't get back in time when they have the offense going, and it's going to catch them one of these times off guard.
Sending the ball in the play is Charlie McSpirit. Passing up for Carlos. Huskies playing 1 man ahead as Tony Johnson just giving the red card for his second yellow card violation. And Huskies keep control of the ball. Passing up towards the middle of the field. They lose it. And settling it down is Ricky Marvin, the captain of North Carolina. Marvin holding the ball for the Tar Heels. Now sending a pass up front for Billy Hartman. Hartman entering the Connecticut zone. Passing and looking up for a teammate. Broken up nicely by Eric Myron. Now Carlos doing some pushing on Billy Hartman. And he'll get called for the play. It'll be a direct kick for North Carolina, about 25 yards outside the penalty area with 6 minutes and 15 seconds to go here in the first half. A lot of action in this first half. We've seen a red card and 2 other yellow cards, and we've seen the Huskies put the ball in the net once. They lead North Carolina by the score of 1-0. Connecticut with a record of 9-2 versus North Carolina with a record of 11-1, but one of those wins over 5th-ranked Clemson. North Carolina sends the ball to play, headed away by Jimmy Lyman as it was sent right into the penalty area. Now cleared by John Brubaker as he kicks it off a North Carolina player's hand, and it goes out of bounds. But it'll be a throw-in for Connecticut. As the clock is running down, halftime, we're going to have some world-class wrestling action for you during halftime. Then we're going to get to some of the NFL scores that are on hand back with Tom Bowling. We'd like to thank Tom for being our technical director this afternoon. And we'll try to catch up on the playoff action doesn't start till about 4:05 this afternoon. And that's when you can hear the Spanish music with Jose Aponte, so stay tuned for that from 4 to 7. Connecticut controlling the ball on the right side. It's Elvis Comrie. Comrie trying to get around David Hellwig, but he's still controlling the ball. Now gets around Hellwig on the right side. This is Comrie breaking in towards the penalty area. Hellwig comes back and makes the steal. A nice play by Hellwig, and he's bringing it back the other way. Hellwig looking upfield for a teammate. No one's there, and Carlos strips the ball away. Carlos passing the ball on the left side looking for Eric Myron. Myron racing with the ball, and he wins the race, and he gets the ball before it goes on the touchline. Sends it in the middle for Carlos outside the penalty area. Chipping one in front. Cleared away nicely by Ricky Marvin, but Marvin can't get away fast enough, and Eddie Lynch comes in, snatches it up, and looks for a pass to the right side for Thukas Stavrianitis. Stavrianitis can't get to the ball, and it's a play by the North Carolina team, and North Carolina comes with the other way, stolen by Connecticut right around midfield. Jimmy Lyman controlling the ball for the Huskies. Up front for Pedro Dobrino. Dobrino slips, but gets control of the ball. Eric Myron now slips, and it's stolen there by Billy Hartman. Hartman coming back the other way, but he was upended by Carlos. And we have a whistle to play, and I believe we're going to have a timeout, and maybe we'll see if they're going to issue a yellow card to Carlos. No yellow card. Not even a warning. Just a obstruction call, an indirect kick for North Carolina. And taking the play is Ricky Marvin. Marvin sending it downfield. Headed up nicely by Mike Reed. Reed sending it in for Tim Hensley, but cleared away nicely by Charlie Spirit. A collision in the middle of the field between Thukas Stavrianitis and a North Carolina player. I believe it was Mike Fiocco. And I believe Thukas would be called for a push or a trip, whichever, but it will be a North Carolina direct kick right outside the midfield circle on the Connecticut side of the field. Clock running down, 3 minutes and 41 seconds to go until half. Sending the ball to play, Robert Kelly, a lobber in front, headed into the towards the goal area by Marvin, and Jim Renier comes out to make the save as he collides with Billy Hartman.